Hello everybody, in today's video I will be going over how to get any shoe, and I mean any single shoe, off the SNKRS app and off the SNKRS website. Basically just how to get any Nike shoe in general. And this method, you have to understand, it's not like 100% guaranteed. This method specifically is only meant to increase your chances, okay? But guys, this is the same method that we all used during the blue tint Yeezy drop. And come on, guys, how many of you copped? Comment down below if you got some of the blue tints because of this jig. Now, the jig we're going to be going over is the multiple people jig. I want to make two things very clear. One, I did not create the multiple people jig. I found it. However, I am the one who, I guess, came up with the idea to use it on the SNKRS app because no one really thought of that before. But I'm not taking credit for coming up with the initial idea of it. In addition, I'd also like to say you don't need to use the multiple people jig to have a good chance of copying. The whole idea behind this is it's all based off of using multiple accounts. And for that, you could really just use 7 different computers, or you can use 7 different cellular devices. It's all up to you. But I do think that a lot of you guys only have 1 or 2 computers, and even if you do have 7 computers, maybe you want to try the multiple people jig on each one of those 7 computers. But let's talk realistic. Let's say you only have 1 computer. I'm going to be going over exactly how to do the multiple people jig step by step. I'm going to make it so easy that your grandma can do it. I'm going to make it so easy that your Uncle Gary could, I'm not sure you want Uncle Gary going to your house, but without anything further ado, let's get right into it. Hold on, wait a second, actually. A lot of you guys were asking what my Snapchat was, so here it is. It's Keith.Adam. Feel free to add me. Go ahead, but let's get right into this. So first, I'd like to go over how this works, because you might be wondering, Keith, I need to understand this. I don't want to just know the steps. I want to know how this works. Well, so when we used the multiple people jig on the Adidas website, I think everyone knows that it was a randomized process. You know, it's a big raffle. You wait to get selected, and obviously by creating multiple people, it's almost like extra raffle entries, and you weren't able to just open up multiple tabs because Adidas tracks you by your cookies. They don't track you by your IP address. That's a common misconception. But you use the extra people on like the Chrome users, and you won't be tracked. So basically, the reason this is going to work is because on the SNKRS app and website, shoes released 2 different ways. One is a raffle where you have 30 minutes to sign up, and that's basically it. It's super simple, and if this is what's going to happen, you have less of a chance of copying just because so many people have time to get them. But what I like better, first come, first serve, because it's actually not first come, first serve. Now, it might seem like that. You might be thinking, oh, shoot, I didn't enter my password quick enough, so I'm not going to get the shoes. But that's not the case at all. Now, you do want to be super fast. That does help you, because obviously the sooner you get in, the more likely you are to be selected, but it's completely random once you're in there. When it says pending or when it says waiting in line, it's not a single file line, guys. The algorithm is selecting random people to get in. So let me show you exactly how this works. Let me show you how to do this step by step. Step 1. You need to make the same amount of email addresses as you have accounts. Now, you don't actually have to do this. What you can do is use your email address and add a +1 or a +2, +3, +4, etc. You guys get the gist of it. Now, I do believe on some websites it actually doesn't work, but I found that on the SNKRS app and website, I was able to create multiple accounts by doing this. So if you're just trying to save some time, if you want all the emails going to one place, you should definitely do the +1, +2, +3 jig, I guess you could call it. But it's definitely not necessary. If you feel more comfortable creating other emails, go ahead and do that. It doesn't take much time. But moving on, let's go on to step number 2. Step number 2, you need an equivalent amount of phone numbers to email addresses. You need the same amount. So you might be wondering, Keith, how do I get phone numbers? Well, there's 2 ways you could get phone numbers, and I'm sure there's more actually. One way is to download the app called Text Burner. And now when you go to this app to I guess purchase the phone numbers, it is $4 to purchase a phone number. So you're like, that's too expensive. But you only have to do this if you don't have any friends or family. If you have friends or family, it's as simple as just asking them, hey man, I'm basically signing up for a Nike account, and you care if I use your phone number? You just send over a verification code. Nothing will happen, I promise. And chances are they'll say yes. If they say no, you just ask someone else. It's simple as that. So basically that's it. And occasionally what does happen, if you sign out and then sign back in again, sometimes it'll ask you to verify your number again. But still, you're avoiding having to pay that extra $4. And if anyone else knows how to get free phone numbers, anyone else knows how to get verified, accounts, definitely comment it down below, because this is a community, guys. It's not just a channel. Feel free to subscribe, by the way. Step number 3. This is perhaps the most important step, because even if you don't do the multiple people jig, even if you don't take any of my methods, if you don't do this, let me just say, your chances of getting the shoe are little to none. And basically, you just have to make sure your address is filled out, and you have to make sure your PayPal is filled out. If you don't have those things filled out, you're not getting it, because you have to enter it in manually, and you get a ton of errors when you're trying to enter it in manually on a limited release. I know for some people they were saying they're really struggling on the Nike and Off-White collab, so you need to fill out your info beforehand. I would advocate filling in your PayPal rather than a credit card. It's up to you though. It's just, I think sometimes they ask you for that security code. Also, sometimes they just don't accept a credit card, which I don't understand. So I would advocate using PayPal. Like I said, it's completely up to you. And if you were wondering, can you use the same address and PayPal on multiple accounts? The answer is yes, guys. Step number 4, you have to apply the multiple people jig. Step number 4, you have to do the multiple people jig. And I'm going to teach you how to do the multiple people jig for those of you who don't know. So essentially, I already stated this before, you can't just open up a bunch of tabs and expect that you could sign in on a different account on each one. That's not going to work. What you will find is, even if you sign in 7 different accounts, when you try to buy on each one of them, they'll all switch over to the same exact account, and you're only going to have one entry, so it's just going to be a fruitless endeavor. But with the multiple people jig, all the Chrome users are completely different, so you will be able to sign in with different accounts and have multiple entries. So now let's go over the individual steps for actually creating the people and how to utilize the multiple people jig to its full potential. First, you gotta make people. You gotta make Chrome users. I don't mean to say that. Okay, so you go to the top right corner, and there should be like a little person. If it's not a person, it might be your name, perhaps. So you click on that, and underneath you'll see an option that says Manage People. You click on that. After that, you click Add Person. Directly after that, you get to pick a name for your guy. You can name him whatever you want. You get to even pick a cool little emblem for him. Isn't that cool? I'll stop now. So you basically just hit save, and I did forget to mention, this has to be on Google Chrome. It cannot be on Safari, unless there's a way of doing it on Safari that I'm not aware of. But yeah, you have to do it on Google Chrome, and if this is too complicated, which it shouldn't be, it's really simple, what you can do is just, you could try different browsers, because you could have one account on Chrome, one on Safari, one on Firefox, one on Internet Explorer, and they won't interfere. But it's so much simpler to me to just keep them all on Chrome with the people. So let's move on. So when you have all these people created, you're like, okay, Keith, now what do we do from here? Okay, so you just go to one person, and I guess you just copy and paste the link for the sneakers website. Then you can copy and paste this link on every single Chrome user. Now you're wondering, Keith, what's the point of all this? I can only see one tab at a time. You expect me to minimize each one at a time? No. You don't have to do that, guys. What you can do is actually just, you can shrink them kind of like this. All you got to do is move your mouse to the side of it and click it, and then you just drag, and it will shrink it. So when you're actually buying the shoe, you will have to enlarge it most likely. You will have to click purchase, but then you just shrink it again, move on to the next one. And the whole key here is just being as fast as possible. Every time you go to a new person, that next person's chances are decreased slightly. And obviously, if you have 20 accounts, by the time you get to the 20th account and say you're like 45 seconds into it or 50 seconds into the release, that account has very, very little chance of getting it. But the first 5 accounts, the first 6 accounts, they have a really high chance of copying because you've gotten in pretty early. Personally, I just use 6. 6 is like my magic number, because when I was going for the CR7s, I got it on my 5th account, and review coming soon, guys. Don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. Just patience. But I actually got them on my 5th account, so it essentially just proves that this actually does work. And I probably will be doing a live stream for the galaxies that are coming out, because that comes out on a Sunday. Now, obviously, I can't live stream while I'm in school on Friday for any of these upcoming releases, but for the galaxies, it's Sunday, February 4th, so I think I'm going to live stream that, so comment down below if you're excited about that. So basically, that's it. That's how you get any single shoe you could ever want on the SNKRS app. Now, you have to keep in mind, guys, nothing is guaranteed. This method is only and solely to just increase your chances. It cannot guarantee you anything, because it's just a raffle, right, guys? And there are some other jigs I've heard of where you like change the link up, you put the product number in it, and I've never tried it, but I've heard really negative results from it. So I personally would not go for it. I've heard about people getting IP banned by using it. I've never even experimented with it just because I don't want to risk it. But if you know anything about it, comment down below. So with that, I'll end the video. Feel free to leave a like. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to check out my Snapchat. I will send Bob. And have a fantastic day. Good luck on these releases.